Welcome to the next video in the web strategy series, OneWebStrategy.com, Your Health. It's the first video regarding your health. I listen to different radio stations, conservative, liberal, commercial, public, whatever. I just try to get a nice variety of things. Listening to NPR.org, the NPR radio here in the Pittsburgh area, and there's an interesting segment about a new book coming out. Stand up, walk around, even just for 20 minutes. Basically the segment talks about that if you're sitting at your desk, it's bad for you. As Americans, we watch TV, we sit at our computers, and we sit at our desks at work, and it's not good for our health, our posture, and our physiology. Gretchen Reynolds is a columnist from the New York Times, and she wrote a book called The First 20 Minutes. And I've gone through it, and it has lots of references to medical journals, to medical studies, clinical studies, and there's lots of evidence to back these things up, which I'm going to share with you. You need to break up the sitting. That's it. When you sit, whether it's in the car, at your desk, watching TV, you got to break it up. You got to stand. Preferably, you got to walk. Even better if you can jog. Let's start. The federal guidelines, which are kind of lagging behind, if you ask me, they recommend that you have 30 minutes of moderate exercise a day. Could be walking, could be jogging. New research shows that even regular exercises may not be doing enough to counteract the health hazards of sitting down. So you gotta stand up. You gotta walk. Here's the 4 key tips that you could go with, at least for now. It's a good start. Get your heart rate into your target zone, and you'll get so much more out of your workout. There's all kinds of charts and things you could look up in books or on the internet. For your age, you can find out your heart rate target zone. The faster and the better you can get your heart rate into that zone when you're working out, whatever you're doing to exercise, the better. When you're exercising, you don't have to lift heavy weights to build muscles. More reps with lighter weight works. There's a research that says one secret to keeping the pounds off is eating slowly and savoring each bite. Again, Americans, especially men, I think, we sit down, we finish our meal in 20 minutes, we scarf it down as quickly as possible, and often we don't chew it well. And then sometimes at the end of the meal, or we feel hungry still, because sometimes it can take 20 minutes or so for your stomach sends a signal to your brain that you're full. So technically you could actually be full but not feel full because that signal hasn't been sent because you eat too fast. Eat slow, chew enough, and savor it. Guess what? Plus you enjoy it more. It's kind of like that thing, living in the present, living in the moment. Even modest amounts of physical activity reduce the dangers of heart disease, to walking, any kind of exercise. Even a little bit helps. Obviously you want to get 20 minutes or more a day, but even if you're doing 20 minutes or less, that still helps. And even if it's just a few times a week, it's still better than none. Okay, like I said, sitting is bad health. Here's a quote. Sitting for long periods of time, when you don't stand up, don't move at all, tends to cause changes physiologically within your muscles, says the author in the New York Times. You stop breaking up fat in your bloodstream, you start getting accumulations of fat in your liver and in your heart and in your brain. You get sleepy, you gain weight, you basically are much less healthy than if you're moving. So look, liver disease, heart disease, and different dementia, Alzheimer's, strokes may result in lack of exercise. Let's face it, we each have a genetic disposition and weakness for something. We each choose some bad food to eat a couple times a week or more, most of us as Americans do not exercise enough. We have stress. There's other things going on. One thing you can control is standing up, moving, exercising even a little bit. Okay, stand 2 for 20. The author, the columnist from the New York Times, Reynolds, recommends that you stand for 2 minutes every 20 minutes while desk bound, even if you can't move around. It has profound consequences. If you stand up every 20 minutes, even if you do nothing else, you change how your body responds physiologically. Studies have shown that frequent standing breaks significantly decreases your chances of getting diabetes. If you can also walk around your office, you get even more benefits. You will lose weight, lessen your chance of heart disease, and you will improve your brain. But if you can do nothing else, stand up. Walk, even just a bit. So what can you do? Let's talk about this. When you're on the phone, stand up. Guess what? People that train you about phone sales and customer service, they tell you you actually have a better voice in many cases when you stand up. You can be more confident, you breathe better, and it's a better posture. Standing up obviously is going to help you physiologically, considering what we just talked about. It can help you otherwise. Consider buying a musical stand. It hardly costs anything. You can put papers and books and stuff on there and use it as a stand-up desk. Read standing up. Walk down the hall once an hour. Walk outside and maybe around the parking lot or around the lobby. It's enough to break it up. You know, since we're talking about exercise, it's somewhat off the subject, but she did cover it, and I thought it was very interesting. Stretch or not stretch? Research now suggests that stretching before a workout isn't necessarily a good thing because it causes the brain to think about what you're about to tear those muscles. So it's the same author. So when you stretch and hold a pose, the brain thinks you're about to damage yourself, and it sends out nerve impulses to actually tighten the muscles. So it's actually really less ready for the activity. So instead, just warm up with a light jog, for example, or whatever exercise you're doing. You know, if you're swinging something, do a light swing. If you're doing other things, do it lightly and slowly. You want to get the muscles warm and just slowly build up. Walking may be the single best exercise that exists on the planet. It's low impact and it has relatively low risk for injury. Walking appears to be what the human body was built for, she explains. Even 15 minutes will reduce your risk for heart disease and diabetes. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Check us out at OneWebStrategy.com or email me at OneWebStrategy@gmail.com. Thanks very much. Look forward to talking with you more. Send me feedback and comments.